Hey everyone, welcome back to another video.
So humans are basically being trained for being a slave for a system. They are not taught to be free and sovereign. They are actually groomed to do the opposite, which is to serve a particular system which you can call a matrix, which you can call anything, but the underlying energy is that there is a authority that basically harvests your energy. You are just a number to that system. They don't really care about you. You are really easily replaceable, and constantly you have to live in fear when you are under that control. And that system is constantly trying to manipulate you, trying to control you through various things. Things that you can't even perceive are actually controlling your mind, your perception. So the perception of the masses is hijacked by fear. It is heavily conditioned to live in the vibration of fear. Because when a person lives in the vibration of fear, they are obedient. They can be easily controlled. They are in survival. So that is why anyone who is on a level where they are the authority, whether it is a certain group of people, whether it is an individual person, whether it is a dictator, they will definitely want you to be in fear. If you look, everyone who is running a country, they are humans. And when the human is identified with the ego, what is the greatest thing they want? They want power. So when someone has the power over a country, they are just on a really big ego trip. So how can you trust a human that has a lot of power? They are bound to become corrupted because they will not be heart-centered anymore. They were never really at the first place heart-centered. This is what I feel, that any person who is really heart-centered, who has connected to the love frequency, I don't think they will have any interest in politics, in running any sort of government, because it is authoritative. By very its nature, its foundation, it is control, pure control, manipulation. So it has been going on for centuries, but now it has come to its peak, where there are certain systems in place that control the masses, that hijack your perception, that distort your perception, that don't let you see the reality with the eyes of love, with the eyes of oneness, but create separation, fear. And when a person is in fear, and when the humans have normalized fear in their lives, when they have normalized being a slave for this system, then there is no hope for freedom and being sovereign. It's like there are a lot of birds in a cage, and a bird gets out of the cage and it starts flying. And the birds are saying, "Look at that stupid bird. She is crazy. She is keeping all of us in danger by going outside, by flying, by being sovereign." So this is how the masses feel when someone speaks the truth, when someone steps into their power, because they have been fed lies, they have been conditioned, and the moment they see the truth, they can't accept it. They're having a really great cognitive dissonance. The problem with humans is that we don't want to know the truth. We want to believe what is familiar. And because of our conditioning, because how we have been trained by the system, what is familiar? Fear is familiar. Freedom is not. Lack is familiar. Separation is familiar. Unity is not. So the moment you see someone who is being sovereign, someone is in the unity consciousness, who is anchored in the frequency of new earth, you can't believe that. You want to believe in the old stories of survival consciousness. You want to stay in fear, because you have been programmed like that. So this system does not like critical thinkers. Critical thinkers are those people who question the narrative. They don't feel that the person who is power hungry is thinking for their benefit. It is very obvious that a person has not thought critically about life when they think that the government is working for them, when it is run by corrupt people. You just need a basic questioning, a basic critical thinking. And you don't have to fight about these things with other people. You simply have to become aware and disassociate yourself from the entire game and create your own reality. Create your own version of earth that you want to create. Embody that frequency. It is not about you versus me. It's about creating your reality, speaking your truth. And being free is the beginning of that. Because humans have been conditioned, like I said earlier, to be a slave. So when you start thinking critically, you start questioning. And this is the greatest thing that happens when a person awakens. They realize that all my life I've been living like a slave, like a beggar, not realizing that I was the emperor, that I am the source of everything. I don't lack anything. But I have been conditioned to believe that I am a beggar, that everything is outside of me. So this is the spiritual aspect of it. But on the physical level, you have been brainwashed. You have been brainwashed to think that you have to live in fear, that you can't be free, that you can't be sovereign, that you have to always obey the authority. So a person who thinks and who has normalized that it is perfectly fine to obey the system, who is not courageous enough to be a soul rebel, they have failed to tap into the infinite potential a human possesses. They are just staying at the very base, a very surface level experience of being a human. The potential that the human possesses is limitless. You are not here to be inside a cage. Being free is your birthright. It's time you remember that. And whatever one individual does affects the entire collective. But the other aspect is whatever the collective does affects the individual. So when you are in the physical reality, whatever is happening on the planet right now, the mandatory aspect of things, where the authority is telling you that you have to comply, that we are completely controlling you, so definitely it will bother you because it is the collective. You are part of the collective. Whatever happens there, it affects the individual. But how you respond to it, how the individual responds to the collective, that affects the collective. It doesn't mean that you have to give your power away to the collective. It means that you are connected to it. So don't expect that if you are living in your own reality, you are making the shift, you are maintaining your frequency, whatever is happening in the collective, it won't make its way to you. It will. But how do you respond to that? Do you question it or do you just obey it? Do you speak your truth or you absorb all that? So that changes things. Now the another aspect of freedom and being sovereign is choice. The way this system conditions you, programs you, is to make you live in an illusion of choice. So when you don't have the choice, how are you free? And when someone says that freedom and choice are not connected, what do they mean by that? That choice is not about freedom. At the very core, freedom means that I choose my life. So in order to be free from this illusion of choice, one must question the narrative. One must have the consciousness to see beyond the illusions, to see beyond the conditioning. And that happens through questioning. Intelligence is not about learning something by heart, saying the same things again and again like a parrot. Intelligence is questioning. Is Google intelligent? Because just by typing the question, it can give you all the answers. But can we call that intelligence? Because it can't answer without the question. So who is the one who is putting in the questions? It's you. So real intelligence is questioning. Without you questioning, without you typing or searching something, it can't exist. Only when you ask the question, it can answer. But it can't ask the question. It has to be programmed. The AI, the programs, they need to be coded in a way so that they can ask very fixed amount of questions. But humans, they have the ability to think critically. They can ask questions. That is real intelligence. And that is why the people who used to think different from the masses have been really hated in the past. So you don't have to follow the mainstream narrative, whatever it is, in no matter what area it is. You have to have the discernment that you question it. And if someone is saying that you can't question something, that I don't think that they are sovereign and I don't think they have any interest in making you sovereign. They want you to be a slave. They have their own agenda. So you must learn to question it and discern it for yourself. Otherwise, others are running the show for you. You don't have your reality. Your choice is something that God gave to you, your universe gave to you. It is your free will. And even if that is taken away, where is your freedom? Your choice and your freedom are connected.
I hope you enjoyed this video. You can like, comment, share. You can also support my work by hitting the thanks button. And please make sure to subscribe. Much love to you all.